Cool. I think I am back. Sorry about that. Camera died midstream on me. I've downgraded myself so that I'm not doing 4K anymore. I'm only doing 1080p, which should work better for my connection. And hopefully you guys can see that a little better as well, but still get a nice clear picture of that. Cool. So moving along. Now we have this kind of yellow area patched in. I think I do want to add in another layer of white. And again, I'm just going to slop it in and then pull out. One of the advantages of acrylic paint as well is that it dries very fast. Well, it's really both an advantage and disadvantage. But for layering, it actually works really well because it dries so quick that it allows you to really cake paint on top of itself without having to worry about it moving around. I'm just going to keep pulling this down. Cool. Now, the next thing that I want to do is use Phthalo Blue and Payne's Gray to work from the top corner. Now, I'm going to start with Payne's Gray, which is, again, is really our black for this painting. Oops, that's titanium white. Whoops, I grabbed the wrong tube. That's okay. Titanium white's not going to hurt anything. And I'm going to put on some more Payne's Gray onto my palette, right next to that white. I'm putting a lot of it on the palette because, I feel like I'd rather just use it. If I'm using too much of it, cleaning off my fingers a little bit, and I'm adding on some Phthalo Blue. And I'm really just going to begin mixing in the Phthalo Blue, Payne's Gray, and Titanium White to make our blue sky. And I really want the sky to be a very painter's gray. So in the reference image, it really is the middle of the day. This is also looking north, so the sun would never be here. But I kind of want it to have that effect in this painting. So I'm kind of using my imagination a little bit, which is always fine. Your world, your rules. So let's start with Payne's Gray and white, mixing them on the palette, cleaning my brush to make it a little more wet. And Payne's Gray and white. And I'm going to start from this corner and just pull this across like so and down a little bit. Putting a little more paint on the brush, Payne's Gray and white. Because I'm darker here, I always want to make sure I'm starting in this corner and working my way down. That was a little bit brighter than I thought it would be. That's okay. Part of the fun of painting in the real world is that you have to learn how to use color, whereas on a digital platform like Acrylic, like I usually use, it's much easier to actually pick and choose the exact color that I want to have appear on the canvas, whereas here I have to use my eye and physically mix the paints that I want, which is itself a learning experience. I think really part of the overall painting process. Now notice how it's getting a little bit stuck here because that paint's already drying. It's a bit tacky still as it is drying, which is good. That's something that we want. Again, brush is very wet. Pulling Payne's Gray, pulling white. Coming from the top. And I'm kind of just trying to pull this in kind of in a very whimsical fashion as I get closer and closer to the horizon. And I'm kind of letting it thin out over that yellow to really create something that's a little more vibrant. I'm trying to make sure that I use the paint at hand to really be mindful of it. And I'm probably also going to keep adding in another bright spot as I finish this sky up, just to reinforce that bright, vivid spot that I want to be the central point of the image. I really want the foreground of the ridge to lean yourself back and lead the eye back into the light. Cool. I'm trying to move the paint around while it's still wet, soften it up some, take paint from areas